I am Caitlin Johnson, and I am taking off the shades and letting the sun shine on domestic violence. I chose this topic for the following reasons. I witnessed domestic violence in my own extended family because of my mother and grandmother's commitment to helping women involved in domestic violence through an organization called Sister Care. I became involved at an early age. I believe that after researching the topic through scholarly journals, surveys, and personal interviews, it is an issue of great importance and urgency for college students. The disciplines touched by this issue are economics, sociology, psychology, justice, and, of course, the entire field of liberal studies. I learned a lot in researching this topic. One, there is an increase in violence as shown by the data. Two, domestic violence is not reported. Sometimes, especially on college campuses, for a number of reasons. Economic, a fear of reprisal, insecurity of the victim, and various other reasons. Three, domestic violence does not play favorites. It affects everyone. My plan of action was research scholarly articles on domestic violence, especially those related to domestic violence on college campus. Interview, visit, and talk to a CEO of an organization that houses women who are victims of domestic violence. One, interview with Nancy Barton, CEO of Sister Care in Columbia, South Carolina. Two, sample interviews from college peers on domestic violence. Three, statistical data. Interview with HBCU college professor Dr. Tanya Smith Bryce, Dean of the School of Health and Human Services, Benedict College, Columbia, South Carolina, on campus domestic violence. Interview with attorney Kristen Bell, past president, Board of Directors of Sexual Trauma of the Midlands. Interview with Don Wilkins, Senior HR Manager of FedEx and a former victim of domestic violence. Interview with Prosecutor Solicitor's Office, which must remain anonymous. Today, I invite you to join me as I interview two former college students on domestic violence, both recent college graduates. The one interesting thing I learned about North Carolina A&T was reported incidents of data violence in 2014 was 9. In 2015, it increased to 13. And in 2016, it increased to 18 for on-campus. For on-campus student housing facilities, in 2014 and 2015, there were 9 reports of dating violence and an increase to 12 in 2016. While on spring break, I watched the documentary, The Hunting Ground, which is a documentary film about the incidents of sexual assault on college campuses in the United States and how officials at some of the universities failed to report these incidents to keep down negative publicity and to keep enrollment from declining. How do you define domestic violence?
I think domestic violence is any time where someone feels like oppressed, like whether it's like physically, mentally, just someone feeling like battered, like you're either physically hitting someone or you're verbally abusing them with your words or you just mentally like just handicapping them. That's just.
You are a recent college graduate. Mm-hmm. Do you think domestic violence is increasing among college students? Why or why not?
I definitely think it is. Well, not personally, because I think people go off to college and they're away from home, and so they meet new people, and then sometimes people come and they try to be all friendly and up in your space, but then you being away from home, and so you're out of your comfort zone, so you end up trusting and putting your trust into people. And then, of course, that those people can be like users and manipulators and just be out to get you or just wolves in sheep's clothing. And not only that, but like even college girls, when they meet these guys off the internet or meet like upperclassmen, and you don't want to have sex with them, but they want to have sex with you, and you're like, no, 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 no. They force themselves on you, or sometimes they're just like, oh, if you don't do X, Y, Z, you're just stupid, or you're just this and that and the third. So they start to get in your mind and start to abuse you, like mentally, abuse you sexually, abuse you physically. I just think it's even being a woman walking around campus. You're not safe. At night you cannot walk to your car from the garage. Somebody might be there to try to rape you, or might be there to try to rob you, or just it's just crazy.
Alrighty, so what do you think is a solution to helping domestic violence in college?
I just think bringing awareness to the issue, like having more seminars, have people who've actually been in like a domestic relationship, who've actually surpassed it and overcame domestic violence. Like having to speak out at seminars, just like shed light on the situation. Because I think a lot of times people are just afraid to speak up and say, hey, I'm being abused, or I've been abused. So just like bringing awareness to the issue and just making a stand for it. They have cancer walks for AIDS. Have do more for domestic violence. I'm Courtney, and I'm taking the shades off and letting the sun shine on domestic violence. It is real.
How do you define domestic violence?
I define domestic violence as an attack on someone's life, basically. It's an emotional, a spiritual, it's a financial, physical abuse. It can be life changing. It can be life altering. It can cause so much damage, scars, and emotionals to where they are not able to proceed or to evolve to become a better person. They feel trapped. They feel hindered.
Yes.
So domestic violence and the perspective, even for a male, because in most cases you don't hear about it, but I know it's relevant that men experience domestic violence, of course, women. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a physical domestic violence. It could be more of emotional. Oh, you're not going to be nothing. You're not with me. Your little check. Women,
Right.
sometimes we can say things, and even though sticks and stones will break your bones, words really do hurt. Like,
Yes.
so that's a way, not necessarily emotional abuse, but that could be, and that could cause someone to react physically and want to lash out and hurt someone and make a little big commotion about it. Involving children, it can involve anyone that has that attack, and it changes your life in a negative perspective where it's hard for you to
You
move
are a
on.
recent college graduate. Do you think that domestic violence is increasing among college students? Why or why not?
Yes, I think domestic violence doesn't have as much light as it should. And being a recent graduate of College of Charleston, I'm in the heart of Charleston. There's dark alleys. There's people from all walks of life come and visit and everything. So yes, because sometimes we can provide those opportunities, not necessarily knowing that we are, but we are for darkness. People envy people, college people going with people that is native, not necessarily a part of the college campus, but lives around there.
Yeah.
And it can be part of a superiority type of perspective. Someone older, drugs, alcohol, those things have so many factors. I think that's why a lot of college campuses experience domestic violence, because of those factors and how it can affect a situation. It can affect a person's life.
Do you think there is a solution to domestic violence among college students?
I definitely think that we should draw more awareness to it, but I also feel like we should prepare. We should have more defense classes. We should, more people should be more open, and should be like an alliance there, some form of alliance, like how you have the SGA alliance or student advocates, or what we call it at College of Charleston. Maybe there's some type of mechanism for men to express their needs as well as women, because a lot of men displays or go through domestic violence as well. And I think because they're supposed to be the more masculine type, that they're scared to share their story. So I think we should draw more awareness, but also put in places where we can prepare for it just in case it may happen, like some defense classes. Hi, I'm Alex, and I am taking the shades off and letting the sun shine on domestic violence. It's real.
So I invite you to take off your shades.